Okay, yesterday we were left half the way with the simulation. So I will continue with the simulation. We have already seen the positive series clipper. We have seen the negative series clipper. We have seen the positive noise clipper. Now the time is there for us to see the shunt clippers, okay, actually working. So I hope you see the multi-sim screen in front of you, guys.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
So we will
Yes,
simply
sir.
take up the example that we have designed itself, right? This was the example that we have designed in the last lecture. We'll take up that example itself. To recollect, we were supposed to determine a suitable resistance R1 for that negative shunt clipper, where input was bipolar plus minus 5 volts, and VO minimum that was expected was plus 4.5 volts, right?
Yes,
And then
sir.
we calculated the load current was given as 2 milliamperes, and we calculated the resistance to be 250 ohms. All right. So let us
50
take up the
ohms.
same
Yes.
example. What I have written up here is a negative shunt clipper, and the source that I have applied over here is bipolar source plus minus 5 volts, and the frequency I have set as 1 kilohertz. Okay. The same design value I am taking 250 ohms. I'm ensuring that the current is load current is 2 milliamperes, so 5 divided by 2.5 kilo ohm should give me 2 milliamperes. Okay, so if you want, you can check it here. All right, so let us give it a try. So you can see here that I'm having okay. Is the waveform visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
So let us have a check at whether we really have 4.5 volts. So you can see here that the cursor over here stays at 4.545 volts. So our condition is satisfied. All right. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
So what we have done is we have designed, and at the same time, if I disable the input, you'll see the output is exactly as what we had expected. Okay. So we are getting the positive half cycle being properly passed out at the output, whereas negative half cycle, you'll see that it should be around 0.7 volts. See, guys, is that okay?
Yes, sir. You were not audible.
All right, all right. So I was saying that the negative half cycle was clipped off, and the voltage over here was about 0.7 volts, which was expected, minus, of course. So this is showing me minus
Yes.
728 millivolts. So it is satisfying whatever the design criteria is. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then let us go for the positive shunt clipper. Of course, it's just a simple extrapolation for that. I'm using sine wave over here. Doesn't matter what type of waveform it is, but you can see here that now the positive half cycle is clipped off, and you can again measure this. Again, it is about 0.7 volts. Okay, whereas the output. Okay, now the output is what? It is about it is negative peak was minus 10 volts. So here it is supposed to be less than minus 10 volts by minus 0.7 volts. At the same time, there is going to be a drop across this resistor also, so that together I'm getting about -9 volts. So about 1 volt is dropped across this diode as well as this resistor. Okay, is that
Yes,
fine?
sir.
Yes.
It is not simply the diode drop. Please remember this. It is not simply the diode drop, but it is the drop across the diode as well as this drop. Okay, the drop across the resistor R1. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Because our output, what was the equation for output? Output voltage was equal to E minus IL into R1. Okay. So it is not the diode drop coming into picture over here because the diode is forward biased. It is only IL into R1. All right.
Yes, sir.
So this drop is IL into R1. It is not the diode drop. All right. So if you are finished with this, if you have understood this, we'll move on to the next simulation. And that is the biased shunt clipper. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you run the simulation again, so what is expected? Let us first of all find out what is expected. What we have designed over here is a biased shunt clipper, and what is expected output waveform? You have a 10 volt peak to peak, 20 volt peak to peak, that is 10 volt peak input signal, which is a sinusoidal waveform of 100 hertz, and I am expecting, what should be our expected output? We have already seen this biased shunt clipper. So the peak value should be what? This VB1 plus the diode drop.
V1 plus V8. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
on both the sides. Let us see if
Yes, sir.
that is there or not. So if I run this, I'll see that it is clipped off on both the sides, and you see here it is 3.7 volts. So it is VB1, that is 3 volts, plus the diode drop, that is 0.7. So it is giving me 3.7. Okay. On the negative side
Yes,
also I am
sir.
getting minus 3.7.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Is this fine? Okay. All right. So now let us see one more thing, one more clipper, and that was the Zener shunt clipper. So just open that simulation. So I'm using a 3 volt breakdown Zener, and I should get a similar kind of waveform here. We want to go in for the interactive simulation. So yeah. So is it visible now?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
So again, it's about 3.5 volts over here and minus 3.5 volts over here. Now the difference, small difference is there. The difference being the actual breakdown voltage of the diode may be a little bit different. At the same time, the forward voltage drop of the Zener diode may be slightly different. That is the reason kind of difference over here. That is 3.5 volts here and minus 3.5 volts over here. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So that brings us to the end of the clippers. Today we will see another circuit which is called as a clamper. So just hold on for some time while I switch to the note page. Okay. So we will start with the clamping circuits now. Hold on for some time before I switch it properly. Now this thing is creating a disturbance for me. People joining late. So I'm not going to allow late admittance. Okay. So we will see the clamping circuits today. The very first circuit that we are going to see is the negative voltage clamping circuit. All right, so let us see how it looks like. There is one more extra component here, and that is a capacitor. You have a diode like this and the output. So a simple circuit like this, R1. This is your D1 with the drop across the diode like this. This is going to be the output voltage. This is where you apply the input. Capacitor is C1 and the polarity across the capacitor is like this. Okay? Let us see if I apply an input of this form, what will happen over there. So as usual, I'll be using a rectangular pulse, rectangular waveform. This is going to be the input. Again, the amplitude, peak amplitude is plus E on the positive side, minus E on the negative side. Okay. Remember that this entire thing, peak to peak will be what? Guys? What will be peak to peak value?
2E.
2 times E. Correct.
Okay.
Okay. And the output that I get is going to be interestingly something like this. You see what is happening here? So if I measure this voltage, it is 2E. Okay, and this voltage if I measure, it is VF. Why it happens like this? Okay, let us see how it works. Okay, So the basic idea of a voltage clamp, it is also sometimes called as a DC restorer. Okay. What is the basic operation? It changes the DC voltage level of a waveform. So this is what it does. This circuit changes the DC voltage level. Guys, are you with me?
Yes, sir. So the 2E is complete
Sorry?
now, sir, including VF value also.
What?
Sir, that amplitude 2E is complete now, that including VF also from there
Yes.
till.
See, obviously, output cannot be different. If it would have been
Yes,
this
sir.
much, then the total peak-to-peak output would have been 2E plus VF. How can it be more than input? It cannot be. So it is including, it's a peak-to-peak
Yes,
value.
VF also.
It is
Okay, sir.
peak-to-peak value. Please remember this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us see how this works. So when input, let us start in a systematic way. When input is positive, what will be the condition across in the circuit? When the input is positive, so this part of the waveform, if the input is positive, what will be? So we will be applying plus E here. What will be the condition?
Diode will be forward biased and
Why will the
current
diode be forward biased? Where is the electrical connection? Where is the connection over here? There is a capacitor, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We know for DC the capacitor acts as open circuit. So how will the path be completed? Yes?
Sir, but it is square wave, no? It is alternating.
I'm saying I'm applying only this value. Yes,
That
somebody,
value will not be passed.
yes, so always remember, this is very important. This is the concept. Whenever the very first time the capacitor is connected over there, we assume that the capacitor C1 is uncharged, and this uncharged capacitor, till it gets charged, acts as a short circuit. This is a very important concept. Very, very important concept. So, very first cycle, we assume that the capacitor is not charged, so it acts as a short circuit. Why will it act as a short circuit, by the way? Again, going back to the basics, whenever I'm having
Sir,
a
because it
capacitor like
don't
this,
allow,
yes,
sir, because it don't allow an immediate change in the voltage.
on the other hand, I will say if this is not charged and it acts as a short circuit, current will start flowing, and it will flow till the capacitor is fully charged. Okay, na?
Yes, sir.
So here in this case, till the point where the capacitor charges fully, and capacitor charging is not instantaneous. You have seen that?
Yes, sir.
Capacitor
Yes,
charging
sir.
is not instantaneous, so there will be some current flowing here and creating, charging the capacitor. So in a similar manner, I can say that the capacitor now acts as a short circuit for the very first time and charges of course charges the capacitor, as well as it passes on the current flows in the external circuit, and we can assume that this diode now will be forward biased. So then D1 is forward biased. Agreed? Do all of you
Yes,
agree?
sir.
with me?
Yes, sir.
So when the diode is forward
Yes,
biased,
sir.
what is the voltage across the diode?
VF.
Yes, it is VF. And this is exactly what you are getting for the positive half cycle. For this positive half cycle, you can see this was the earlier positive half cycle. So you are getting only VF here. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
But at the same time, the capacitor now is charged to what voltage? The capacitor has started charging, no? So look at the
Yes,
voltage
sir.
across the capacitor. What is the voltage across the capacitor? Look at what is the voltage across the capacitor. Voltage across
E
the
minus VF.
Yes, it is E minus VF. This
VF.
is the voltage across the capacitor. So the capacitor charges to a value E minus VF. Agreed?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So C1 charges to E minus VF, so many volts. Okay. We'll call this as capacitor as VC, voltage across the capacitor. Now when input goes negative, when input is negative, what will happen? So now imagine this is minus E. Okay? So what will happen to the diode first of all? Look at what is the total voltage
Diode
across the diode.
minus VF.
Voltage across diode D1 is what? Charged capacity. Guys, was there a call drop?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So the condition can be similar to I'm connecting a battery over here like this. And another battery. Okay. Another battery which is having a voltage like this. This was VC, which was equal to E minus VF. And this is actually, okay, this is what is the condition of at the output. So what is the total voltage across the diode? With respect to ground, it will be what? It will be minus E plus VC.
Yes.
Agreed?
Yes, sir.
So what was that value? E plus what was VC? E
E
minus VF.
minus VF.
So if you simplify this, the output voltage is now minus 2E minus VF. Agreed? Do all of you agree to this? It is a series connection of batteries, as if there is a series connection of batteries. Do you agree to
Yes,
this?
sir.
So what will be the output voltage for the negative half cycle? This value. With respect to ground, this value will be what? 2E minus VF. Got it?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Very, very simple. But then what is the peak to peak value of the output waveform?
So that will be 2E. So
Yes.
we'll
First of all, what is the positive cycle during the positive cycle? What is the value? VF. Isn't it? And what is the
yes,
peak
sir.
value? Negative peak value. What is the negative peak value?
So E minus 2.
Remember, this is negative.
Negative
Minus
sign.
2E minus VF.
VF.
So solve this. VF plus 2E. Yes?
Minus VF. Minus VF. So
Yes, it is minus VF. So this turns out to be,
2E.
which is the peak to peak value of the original waveform.
Yes, sir.
So what has happened? What has happened? The DC level of the input waveform is clamped to a different value. There is a DC shift. AC, it doesn't matter. But what we have achieved is we have shifted the input waveform's DC value to a different value altogether. Agreed? Guys,
Yes, sir.
all of you, do you agree to this? Have all of you understood
Yes,
this?
sir.
Sure?
Yes, sir.
I can't make it.
Yes, sir.
It's very, very simple as it is. Okay? Now, if you have understood this, next one is the positive voltage clamp. If you understand the basic operation of one clamp, other things will follow very easily. So, what will be the nature? What will be the circuit diagram for that? We have not yet seen what is the role of this resistor R1,
Yes, sir.
but we'll see that in a short while. We'll see that the diode is simply connected like this. So again, minus plus VF. This is R1. This is C1. Again, voltage across capacitor will always be E minus VF. Now, while explaining this, we will have to start with a negative half cycle, just for our convenience. This is your input. Again, this is plus E. This is minus E. And now the output should look like what? Let us see that. So during the negative half cycle, let us try to find out during the negative half cycle. So when I am connecting minus E here, initially the capacitor is not charged, so I'll just remove it for the time being. What will be the value of output?
So that will be equal to VF minus.
Will the diode be forward biased in the negative half cycle? Yes. Just like this.
Yes, sir.
The diode. So
Yes, sir.
during the negative half cycle,
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
D1 is forward biased, and the capacitor now starts
Yes, sir.
charging. Okay. Remember, this is negative, so that is the reason your polarities will be different. Polarities across the capacitor will be like this. And how much will it be charged to? Since the diode is forward biased, it's very easy for us to say that it will be, the output will be like this. It is going to be, let us say this. So this is going to be VF.
Yes.
Output is going to be VF. Okay?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Right. The capacitor will charge to what? Look at what are the two ends of the capacitors where the voltages are there. Here we have VF, isn't it? And on the other
Yes, sir.
terminal of the capacitor, we have minus E. So what is going to be the voltage across the capacitor?
Sir, minus E plus
It is
VF.
going to be addition of these two.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है ना? So the
Yes.
capacitor is charged to E minus VF. Look at why it should have been minus, no? But look at the polarity here. The polarity is different, and that is the reason why that minus sign went away. Here it was different. See the polarity? The polarity here is like this, whereas here I have maintained, I have changed the polarity, so otherwise this would have been minus. ठीक है ना? Is this clear?
Yes,
But the voltage depends on polarity, like the sign.
Which side is positive? The capacitor, which side is positive? The right hand side is positive, no?
Right side.
Yeah, because the left
Yes,
side
sir.
is negative. So naturally the voltage
Yes, sir.
will be E minus VF across the capacitor. Once you understand this, everything is fine. Okay. So we say that in this case, the capacitor C1 is charged to again E minus VF. Of course, given the polarity. During positive half cycle, what will happen?
the volt.
So here again, if we use the same kind of analogy for the batteries in series, so you have as if you have a battery here with E. Capacitor will also act as a battery, isn't it? This is VC and the diode. So what is the total net voltage across the diode?
E plus VC.
Is what? E plus VC. Same.
Basic.
Okay. But look at the polarity. The cathode is connected to the positive side, anode is connected to the negative side. So this diode is
Side.
forward biased.
Reverse bias.
Reverse
Biased. Excellent.
biased.
Fine. And what is the voltage across the diode then in that case? Our output voltage, which is nothing but the diode across voltage across the diode, which is nothing but
E plus VC.
E plus
E plus VC.
VC. What was VC? E minus.
Minus VF.
This is 2 minus VF. So the output is going positive, but the amplitude of the output is now output is how much? With reference to ground, it is how much? 2E minus
2E plus VF.
Of course, these voltages are all with respect to ground. Huh? Remember that. So what is the peak-to-peak output voltage? Peak-to-peak means what?
So 2E.
This value. So it is going to be 2E minus VF plus VF. This cancels out and you are left with the original
2E.
What has happened again? What has this particular circuit done? It has shifted the DC level of the input waveform in the positive direction.
Yes, sir.
As against this one, which was shifting the output in the negative direction. Understood?
Negative direction. Yes, sir.
Have you understood this? All of you, please respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure?
Yes, sir.
Some students are trying to join still. It is 10:37 and still they are trying to join. I don't know. Anyways, so you have understood the basic operation of a voltage clamp. All right. I assume that you have understood the basic operation
Yes,
of
sir.
a voltage clamp. Now let us have a look at what is the role of that resistor R1. For that, output slope is a very important thing. Now what is this output slope? Okay, this R1 is sometimes called as a bleeder resistor. Okay, what is its function? Its function is to discharge the capacitor C1 gradually over several cycles of input waveform. So that it can charge to a new level if the input changes. This is interesting. We are assuming that the input is same. That is, it's going to be a pulse, a waveform like this. Throughout the time. So we are assuming the input, the voltage to be say like this. And it continues. But if the voltage level changes, over time. If the voltage level changes over time, what will happen? Something like this. Yes, guys, if the voltage level changes like this, the capacitor voltage will be still stuck to that E minus Vf, original E minus Vf, and it will not be able to correctly shift these waveforms which follow. Are you able to understand this, guys?
No, sir. Please explain it once more.
See, we are assuming that this circuit will work fine without the resistor. It will work fine if the voltage levels are like this. So it is a continuous waveform like this, which doesn't change in amplitude at all. But if suppose the waveform, input waveform itself changes like this, you never know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it may again rise. For such applications, it depends on the applications, obviously. So if the voltage levels change, if there is no R1, the capacitor will always be charged to E minus Vf, which was the original one, original E. But E itself changes here, no?
Yes, sir.
So it will be incorrectly changing the DC voltage level. For this part of the waveform, it will be incorrectly doing it. Again, for this it will be incorrectly doing it. Why? Because your capacitor is not allowed to discharge at all. And since it doesn't discharge, it will remain stuck to the original value of E. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what we require is that in order that the output really follows the input, we must make sure that this capacitor is gradually discharged over several cycles of the waveform. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Is
Yes,
that
sir.
fine? So that it can get the new value of E. So the capacitor will get charged to new value of E, if I regularly discharge it.
Yes.
Okay? So that is the reason why R1 is called as a bleed, because it bleeds off the charge from the capacitor. But at the same time, there will be a problem associated with R1, because R1 actually will partially discharge during the time when guys,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
now because of this, what happens is you get some certain tilt in the output. So the output is not an idealized waveform. If you look at the positive voltage clamp, for example, so this was the ideal value, ideal behavior. But because of this capacitor discharging, what I get is a tilt over here. This is the discharge. This is because of the bleeder resistor. Understood?
Yes, sir.
and this has to be controlled. This is called as a slope, output slope, or the tilt, which is nothing but we call it as the delta VC. Okay, which is there on the output waveform. So output will not be an ideal waveform like what we have seen till now, but it will be slightly, there will be a slight tilt over here because of that resistor R1. And we can use the constant current equation for charging and the discharging to get the value of delta VC as IC into T divided by the capacitor value C1. Okay, where the output value peak to peak is 2 times E. The capacitor current is this V peak to peak divided by R1. Of course, this is an approximation. And T is 1 upon 2 times the frequency of input waveform. How do I get this equation? What is the equation for the voltage across a capacitor and the current? What is the relationship, guys? V is equal to 1 by C. Guys, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So again, the pandas, 1 by C integral I dt. We have already discussed this.
Yes,
This
sir.
is the voltage across a
IDT.
capacitor and the current relationship. Okay? Now, if I assume that current is constant, what will happen? V equal to 1 by C.
By C.
I
I
is
into T.
constant.
I into T.
So
I into
I
T.
into T.
T.
This is the equation that we are using. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
So I'm assuming, why am I assuming constant current? This is to simplify. I'm assuming that the current is constant for this duration of time. The current flowing through the capacitor discharging is constant. Okay. Ideally speaking, it should be like this, isn't it? Do you see the curvature, guys?
Yes, sir.
But to
Yes,
simplify
sir.
this, we are assuming it to be a constant value. So that is where I get this equation from. Now from this, we can actually have the capacitor value selection as well as the bleeder resistor selection. So let us see the design example. Things will be clear then. The problem statement goes, the negative voltage clamp has plus minus 8 volts at the input with 500 hertz square input, square wave input, with 600 ohms as signal source resistance. This means to say that I am having a source with a series resistance. So this is going to be the signal, and this is RS. This RS is given as, and this is where you apply the input to your negative voltage clamp. Okay. The output waveform is to have a maximum slope of 1%. You have to compute R1 and C1. This is the problem given to us. So if I draw the circuit diagram for that, so for the problem, so this is the capacitor, this is the resistor R1. You are supposed to find the values of C and R, and we are given that I am having something like this. To be more precise, since it is not given that it is a sine wave, it's a square wave. So it will be okay. So this will be RS, which is 600 ohms. This is input is given as plus minus 8 volts at 500 hertz, and we are supposed to find out the values of C1 and R1. So how do you do that? First of all, calculate T, which is 1 by 2F. What is that? 1 divided by 2 into 500 hertz.
500 hertz.
So how much this turns out to be? Yes. Come on, use your calculators.
0.001.
This is 1 milliseconds.
1 millisecond. Yes, sir.
Okay. So the pulse width is equal to T, which is equal to 1 millisecond. So first of all, we calculate the pulse width. Okay, nobody asked me why T is 1 by 2F.
Yes, sir.
Do I have to ask the questions myself? We are interested in only this pulse width. So how much is this? This is the total period, small t. Do you see the relationship? T is
Yes, sir.
1 by F.
If
This T is T by 2.
1
By 2F.
Therefore, T, that is
by
pulse width, will be what? 1 upon 2F.
2F.
Understood now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I will say capacitor C1 is equal to this T divided by RS. Because this capacitor has to be charged in this particular time by this source, which is having a resistance of 600 ohms. Do you remember this T equal to RC? From there, I can say capacitor C1 is T by RS. So this turns out to be 1 millisecond over 600 ohms. What do I get? Calculate this. Come on, guys, be fast.
So 1.67 microfarad.
Yeah, what 1.67.
So
So I can
1.67.
say it to be about 1.7 micro.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you have done the first.
Yes. So you are not audible.
2 into 8, that is 16 volts.
16 volts.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Now delta VC. We want that this delta VC should be small. How much? 1% of the maximum value. So this delta VC, that is the slope or the change or the tilt, is 1% of the peak to peak value. That gives me 0.01 into 16 volts. How much is this?
0.16.
0.16 volt.
Now we have the equation IC is equal to delta VC into C1 by T. Where do I get this equation from?
Sir, we have written that equation for relation between.
Sir,
Was
correct
actually
relation.
VC is IC into T by C1. From that I get this equation. All right. So
Yes,
this
sir.
is 0.16 volts into what is C1 that we have calculated? 1.7 microfarad divided by time was 1 millisecond pulse width. So how much is this? Come on. This is the charge. This is the discharge current. Come on, guys.
Sir, it's coming as 0.27 milliamperes.
272
Microamperes.
0.272.
Yes, sir.
microamperes.
Yes, sir.
So now I can calculate R1 as 2 times E divided by IC. That turns out to be 16 volts divided by 272 microampere. How much is this? Okay, to simplify, what you can do is this is the simplest trick that you can use. How much is this? Come on, guys.
So 58.8 kilohertz.
Yes, kilo
58
Sir,
kilo
kilo
ohms.
ohms. Kilo ohms.
82 kilo ohms. This is what we are doing.
82 kilo ohms. Yes.
So your problem is solved. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I hope there are no doubts with this. All right. Okay, na? So I think
Yes,
we have
sir.
already exhausted the time. And since this is the last lecture before Diwali vacations, I wish all of you to have a very safe and healthy Diwali. At the same time, don't forget to revise your concepts during the short vacation, whatever you would have. Okay. Remember always that the app which I have given all of you to all of you few days back, it gets updated every day. So all the lectures that we do, immediately the same day, that lecture will be available to all
Sir,
of you.
there is one problem in that app, sir. The video doesn't stop only sometimes.
No, it does stop. I hope you have come over that problem of skipping to the next video. If I get time, I am going to modify the app a little bit so that you can go to the
Okay, sir.
specific lecture.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
This
So
was done in a
because
hurry.
in that one,
To write an entire app for that was a bit of hurry, but if I
Yes,
get
sir.
some time, I'll try to do that and organize it according to the lectures. Okay?
okay,
Okay,
Fine,
sir.
sir.
then. We'll
Thank you.
stop here today. For today, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.